Hi everyone, it's me, Corrie Sommers. Today we are going to be talking about escrow. If you are living in a state that deals with escrow for your sale of your home or the purchasing of a new home, this applies to you for the most part. If you're living in a state that has an attorney involved, it'll be similar but a little bit different. So first and foremost, we're going to be talking about escrow, what exactly that means, what is involved. Stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks so much again for joining me. So today, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about escrow. And what exactly is escrow? Well, first and foremost, escrow is a third party. They're an independent party that basically manages the facilitation of the purchase or sale of your home. So with escrow, let's say you are selling your home and you've accepted an offer. I'm working with you, we've got a great offer, we've accepted the offer. The first thing we're going to be doing is after you as the seller and the buyer has signed the purchase and sale agreement, we're going to be opening escrow. And escrow is going to be the place that holds that initial deposit as per the purchase contract. So escrow is opened and then the buyer of your property sends their funds in to escrow and it's there waiting, the next step. Okay, so deposit is in, and then the next thing escrow is going to do is order a preliminary title report. Now this is a title report on the property that you, the seller, own and that the buyer is purchasing. And this is an opportunity for everyone to check it, see if there's anything wrong, any inaccuracies, something that needs to be corrected, any concerns. Then escrow is really kind of taking care of a lot of steps. And so with those steps include, they also have their eyes on the preliminary title report as well. They prepare the instructions, commonly referred to as escrow instructions. They will send a package out to the buyer with all sorts of documents that need to be signed, as well as the escrow instructions. They're going to request the payoff demand for whatever mortgage you might currently have on your property. They're going to review the demand and all documents, make sure everything checks out, it's accurate. If they have questions, they'll make phone calls. They're going to take care of all those things. Now, both the buyer receives a package as well as the seller, There's certain documents that are required here in the state of California. Now, of course, you might be familiar with the seller property report, or the TDS, the transfer disclosure statement of the property, where you're going through and you're identifying things that are that you've done to the home, that are wrong with the home, that you're aware of, that you're not aware of, all those things, all the details that are required to really let a buyer know what's going on with the home. It's commonly referred to as material facts, right? So, boom, all of that's in, you sign everything, the buyer signs everything, escrow is providing documentation to the lender, the buyer's new lender, and obtaining loan approval, as well as the loan docs. Now this is very important because, of course, in order to purchase a home, you have to sign your loan docs, and they will facilitate that. They'll make sure that the buyer has gotten the loan docs, reviewed them, facilitate the signing, make sure it's signed. If they can't come into their office, they'll maybe make arrangements with a traveling notary. But these documents are very important and, of course, have to be signed and notarized. So I want to back up just a little bit. With the opening package that's going to come to you when you're selling your home, what exactly does that entail, right? That might be something you're questioning. Well, it's going to have the escrow instructions. It's going to have a copy of your tax forms, and that's important. You need to double check it. And it's going to have the deed, the grant deed that's going to be reassigned. And that's very important for you to sign and get back to escrow. Now, the other thing that's going to be included in that opening package for you as the seller is your seller info sheet. And what this is basically is just general information about any outstanding loans you have on the property. And this is important because the escrow company needs to issue a payoff demand requesting that from your mortgage lender. And let's say your lender just happens to be maybe out of state or is very slow on this and needs 15 or 20 days versus 5 or 10. The earlier this gets done, the more smooth the transaction, the more smoothly the purchase of your home that you are selling will go. So this is pretty important. Now, also important in the city of Los Angeles, and if you're not clear if you're in the city of Los Angeles or not, I have done a video on this previously. I'll have the link below so that you can double check. But in the city of Los Angeles, anytime you're buying a home or selling a home, the 9A is required. Now, 9As typically take 15 days. So let's say you accepted an offer from a buyer who is real aggressive. Maybe it's because they're moving out here, their family's coming in a certain date, and they only gave a 20-day escrow. You really need to make sure that you get everything signed from that initial escrow package from the escrow company so they can order that 9A right away so it doesn't hold up the process. That's the last thing we want. Now, to kind of fast forward a little bit, once the lender is almost ready to go to loan docs, they issue the CD, which is the closing disclosure. And this has all kinds of information on it. It has the interest rates. It has the points that are being charged for the loan. It has the cost of title. It has all the impounds of taxes. It has the recording fee. It has the agent. It has a breakdown of the agent's commission. So nothing is hidden. Ever since the TRID reform of the mortgage industry, everything is out in the open, and they really wanted to make sure that all consumers were very clearly aware of where the money goes. So all of that is going to be in the closing disclosure. Now, this closing disclosure, commonly referred to as the CD, has a 3-day window that it has to be signed. Now, here's what's very interesting. Let's say the lender issues the CD on a Friday. Escrow receives it. They let the buyer know it's here. Well, what happens is Saturdays are included in the 3 days, but Sundays aren't. So again, escrow gets this on Friday. The countdown actually starts on Saturday. So there's Saturday day 1, Monday's day 2, Tuesday is day 3. So the buyer has until the 3-day period to sign it. If they can't sign it, let's just say they're out of town, they're on vacation, or I don't know, there was an emergency, they're at the hospital. If they can't sign in those 3 days, then it has to be issued again, and that adds on time. And so I just want to be really clear about that. The other thing that happens is the closing disclosure has to be signed off, received before they can actually fund the loan. Now, how quickly does the loan fund after that? No, so this is a common question. I often hear when I'm working with buyers, like, how soon do we close? When will I get my keys? And I really want to make sure I'm clearly explaining this process. So the CD, 3 days, signed, boom. Then the loan funds. Now, depending on the lender, will really depend on how quickly the funding will take place. I would venture to say more than half lenders are going to fund within 24 hours. There are some lenders that are exceptional and they will fund that same day as long as they've received it by a certain period of time, like say 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, they can still fund. But anything that's received later in the day is going to definitely take place the next day. Or if it's a lender that requires the original signed copy, it can take longer. So let's say that the buyer's lender is not based in California and they require the original signed copy. Well, escrow needs to package the CD up and overnight it to them. So let's say, going with the same example, on Tuesday, everything's signed on the CD, escrow gets that package off to FedEx, and they were able to do so because the buyer came in and signed everything at 2 o'clock. So they had time to get it off to FedEx, right? Gets off to FedEx, gets to the lender the next day, then the lender does their review of it, and then they go to fund. So that could take a couple more days. So just a couple things to be mindful of, but these are some of the steps before you can get to the close of escrow. Okay, so now the loan is funded and everyone's like, yay, we have funded. Not quite the end. No. So in an escrow state, such as California, it also has to record. And the party that handles that recording is the title company. And this is another reason why title companies are so important. It's not just about making sure you have a clean title and ensuring that title for any defects. It is about the recording. So today, most of the recording is done electronically. Sometimes it's still done in person, but it is as a first come, first served type of basis. So let's say, I don't know, it's 8 a.m. and the county is flooded with 100 recordings. They'll get to it when they get to it. There's no way to really determine exactly where in line you fall because we're not there at the county. And even if the title rep was sitting there at the county, they're not gonna know that there's 50 ahead of them. They're just gonna hear, first come, first serve, we'll get to it. So once that is on record, that's when escrow is going to close. That's when your agent is going to be able to give you the keys. They will get, if you're working with an agent representing you on the buyer's side, they will get the key from the seller's agent, and everything will now be ready for you. And I know this can be kind of complicated and a little bit like frustrating because you might be thinking, when do I do the movers? If you're the seller, when do I do the movers? And I would really say once you've gone through your contingency periods and we know that there's a mortgage commitment, we can gauge things a little better from talking with escrow and talking with the lenders, or you know, if you're on the buy side, obviously you're talking with your lender. If you're on the seller side, really talking with escrow and getting that feedback from the lender as to when they're going to issue the CD, and then we can kind of do the countdown from there. And so we'll be able to help you with that. I really want to thank you guys for watching today's Close with Corrie. I hope this information has been helpful. If so, please like the video and of course leave a comment below. I want to also just really encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I am putting up these videos weekly, as well as Financial Fridays, and of course interviews with local businesses and some really amazing people. Thank you guys so much. Click the subscribe button as well as the bell for updates. I will see you guys next time.